true.
I like this.
Yeah.
Yo, I hope the lighting is good.
To all the ladies in the place with style and grace, allow me to place these lyrical douches in your bushes. Who rock grooves and
We're doing it a little different today.
The back of the club, sipping mojitos.
I am coming to y'all from Jaco, Costa Rica. We knocking down Imperials. It's their beer. It's a good one. They got an altar. This, I think this might be their silver. But it's good. It's smooth. So what's up? What's up? Hey, I told you I was committed to you all year. We're going to keep this running. I don't care where I am. We're going to keep it going. So hopefully you're going to catch this before we get to, it's a nice little area. Before we get to these games tonight, we got a nice slate. Duke and Alabama, I'm excited for that one. Hopefully I can sneak out and watch a little bit of that, maybe the first half. Found a nice little sports bar down the street. And they carry all the American games, so we might be good on that one. But hey, we back. The season is wrapping up. We're close to an end. We had about, everybody has anywhere from 7 to 9 games left. We're looking at, I think the last day of the season is April 13th. So the next 2 weeks, for some teams, they already locked in. You know, OKC, Cleveland. Cleveland is, but Boston running up on them pretty tight. Pause. But teams like OKC, and then you got some teams that season over, they're out the playoffs, they looking for draft picks. So that's that. But around the horn, around the league, man, you know, we started off the season, we didn't have no drama. It was quiet. We had we had Jimmy Butler here and there. But man, the last week and a half, this thing with Stephen A. and LeBron has gotten out of control, man. It's just ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous. I thought it was done. Really, I thought it was done. After Stephen A. said his piece, I thought it was done. LeBron shows up on the Pat McAfee show. And if you don't know, there's a little bit of beef behind the scenes. They won't say it, but there's a little beef for Stephen A. Smith and McAfee, right? McAfee was a YouTube show that ESPN brought in. I believe that's how it went. So he kind of does his own thing. He's been disrespectful to ESPN brass a few times, but there's been a little, let's say a little tension there in that relationship, but they keep it professional. Stephen A. got the bag. He got the $100 million, right? So he kind of can do what he wants to do on ESPN. But LeBron went to Pat McAfee and did a show. The Lakers were in Indianapolis. His ass probably should have been practicing with the team or resting because they lost. No, I'm sorry. They won now. They won on the tip end. But we'll talk about that later. But he went on this show. So one, and this is my view of this. LeBron ain't done an interview since the decision. Like, he has his platforms, right? He has his own platforms where he had the JJ Redick podcast. I forgot the first one he had in the barbershop. So he has his platforms to express himself, but he really hasn't been on a national TV interview since the decision. So I found it a little interesting that he would go on the Pat McAfee show of all shows, right? To say what he had to say. He kind of said some things, man. You know, he said Stephen A. was going on the Taylor Swift tour. You know, he took some jabs. He took some shots. He brought in Brian Windhorst, man. Leave Wendy out of this, man. Wendy is one of the best guys around the league, man. He's going to say it like it is. Don't drag him into y'all mess, man. So I thought that was wrong. So, of course, he had his say. Shannon Sharp has piped in. You know, of course, he's going to stick with LeBron because that's his GOAT, right? He loves the Lakers. I get it. But then Stephen A. went on a rant. And you know his rant on ESPN is going to be a little different than what he says on his own podcast. So he had quite a bit to say. He expressed it. He's like, I don't like the dude don't like me, whatever. So anyway, to wrap it up, I'm with Stephen A. on this because I think for how it all started was wrong. And it goes back to the things that Brian said in the very beginning when his son was becoming draft eligible. Like, it's ridiculous for you to say your son is better than most of the guys in the NBA. No. Just no. Just not no. Like, even the worst guys in the NBA, he ain't better than for some. And it might be a couple guys, but at that point in his career, no. So anyway, that's been a mess. Hopefully it's done. Stephen A. I don't know if LeBron did respond showing Stephen A. boxing because Stephen A. said if LeBron were to do something, he wasn't going to put hands on him or he may have thrown a punch. So just drama, ridiculous, but that's what it is. But we need it. We need a little excitement because everybody don't want to hear stats. Everybody don't want to hear points per game. The way this world is now is driven by drama, social media, things we can get out there and post and we comment on. That's just where we are. So I appreciate the little drama we had. Real stuff around the league. Memphis fired Coach Jenkins, man. Now this guy, the winningest coach in Memphis history. Memphis is sitting in the 5th spot right now. Got a chance to move up. Lakers, they're tied with the Lakers for 4th. They fired this guy. Ja's been out. We don't know when Ja's going to come back. He's dealing with a groin injury. And they fired this guy. So they keep saying he lost the locker room. I'm not sure if there isn't more to this story than we know. But anyway, Jenkins is gone. They got the interim coach, but they also fired a lot of people last season. So maybe they were waiting for this opportunity to get rid of Jenkins. LaMelo Ball is out. Starting to wonder if these shoes are a problem for the Ball family when they brought him out because Melo has had ankle injuries. Zoe had foot issues, ankle injuries. So both of the Ball brothers out. That's my family. So shout out to Ball brothers. Get well soon. So we'll see. Other than that, Curry is back from his short injury. Wasn't as bad as we thought it could be. So good for that. Good for the Warriors because they're gonna need him down the stretch. AD is back. And I know people were like, should he come back and play? I'm going to say yes. And the reason I say AD should come back is Dallas needs something right now. And right now, AD is all this franchise has. So for the fact for him to come out and push through the rest of the season, he's played the last 2 games. Actually, they won both games. For him to come back and just be on the court. And maybe he reminds me of the Luka trade. Maybe he can, a few wins, it can kind of transition into next year. But I'm glad he's playing is what Dallas needs right now. And they just don't have anybody. Like Dallas literally just, the team is depleted. So for AD to come back and play and finish off the season, next 7-8 games, man, good for AD, good for the team. And, interesting enough, out of all the stuff that's happened, Clay has played 65 to 74 games, man. He's had an up and down season, but he's played. He's shot actually near his career averages. He's averaging about 14. He just don't get the shots like he used to. But, Clay, he's there, man. And I'm happy for Clay, man. His first season in Dallas, he made it through. So this week, for my Chicago guys, man, I'm gonna give a lot of props to the baby Bulls, man. They had a hell of a week. The last few weeks, the Bulls have been playing well. They are in a good spot for the playoffs. Fighting, they're in the playing games, but I see them getting in. So this week, the Bulls played the Lakers twice, beat them twice. They beat the Nuggets. That's a great week for the Bulls. I can't remember the last time the Bulls were beating the Lakers for a season series. Probably have to go back to the Jordan era. Like, it's been a long time. Kobe White, I'll talk about him a little bit more. Giddey, Mattis, the young rookie, he's been playing well. But the Bulls on the roll, man. Whatever's going on now, Billy Donovan's got these guys clicking. We got young guard play. And I really believe getting DeRozan and Zach out of there was probably the best thing for the Bulls, because now if you look at the Bulls, they sort of mirror these successful young franchises. You look at what Houston has, you look at Detroit, you look at OKC. Not saying they're at that level yet, but they gave up on bringing all these old guys and these proven guys, and they stuck with their core young guys. And they let these guys learn and play. The Bulls are fast. Giddey is hooping. Like, I wonder how this is going to work. Zoe may end up being a back, six man because they signed him. He got two more years. But Giddey been hooping. I was concerned about Giddey. I'm going to talk about him a little bit too. But Giddey's been playing well. And Kobe White's been lights out. So shout out to the Bulls. 3 big wins this week. They've won 4 in a row. They're in good position for the playoff. Another great game was Nuggets Rockets. Nuggets won, even without Joker, but DeAndre Jordan, he's still in the league, man. Had 11 and 15. Murray had 39. But the interesting thing for this was the Rockets played Sengun and Stevie Adams together a lot. You know what that means? They're looking at the future. They're looking at the playoffs. They're looking at Cleveland. These two bigs is kind of the blueprint. We're getting back to bigs are, and a lot of this you could thank Joker. The bigs are very important in this game. You think about when the Lakers won, they were playing AD and Dwight Howard. That helped stifle Joker. So teams are looking at this model, bringing two bigs back. So I want to see how Houston plays this going into the playoffs. But great week. A couple other good games. Last night, Detroit over the Cavs. Mikey, you in there, man. We talked about it during the game. This is big for them. Even despite Spider having 38 and Cade Cunningham not playing, Detroit came through. And again, this is that they got a young crew. They tossed in some, not superstar veterans, but some veteran leadership. And this team is playing well. Malik Beasley shooting the lights out. They got to win over the Cavs. Detroit needs this. When we talk about the playoff seedings, we'll talk a little more about Detroit, but this is a good move for them because that helps them and that takes a game that they need. Thunder's Clips. Now, the Clippers lost this game by 2, 103-101. That's their second loss in the last 12 games. We haven't really talked about the Clippers or not, but they're healthy again. Kawhi's playing like 35 minutes a game for the month. They got a quiet big three with Powell, Harden, Kawhi. Don't think I'm gonna call him 3.5 because Zubac is there and he's consistent, doubles every night. So we're gonna turn to the Clips too, but that was important for the Clips because they're competing now, and the Clips they moved up the ladder in the playoff seedings, and they can be very scary as they get into it. Lakers Pacers, great game. Here's what I got out of the game. Pacers should have won that game. LeBron won the game off a tip, missed shot, tip. Halliburton exposed Luka, man, and I'm sorry. We talk about Luka's defense a lot, but it's gotten he was beating him. He went ISO and just two steps he beat him to the basket. It was embarrassing. So Lakers gonna have to figure this out quickly in this playoff run. Because if their defense can't come back to where it was about 3 weeks ago, they out of here. Top performance for the week. I told you I'm giving love to the Bulls. Kobe White, 13 20-point games in a row. Last 4 games, Bulls won 26, 37, 36, 35. We always knew he could score. That's what he did, but now he's just taking it to a different level. He doing his thing. So shout out to Kobe White. Josh Giddey, he had a rough career, a lot of talent, went through the little thing in OKC, traded him, came to the Bulls. You saw the talent was there, playing him at the point. It just wasn't moving the way we wanted it to. But over the last month, 22, 10, and 10. He damn near averaged a triple-double in March. He got 3 triple-doubles. Against the Lakers, he had 25, 14, 11. The other game against the Lakers, 15, 10, and 17. Shout out to Josh Giddey, man. Bulls are hooping. Andrew Wiggins, 42 for the Heat. You almost forget he with the Heat, man. And I've always been a Wiggs fan, man. I liked him. You think about the last Warriors championship. Wiggins won that chip, man. He was Wiggins can hoop, man. He's just he had some personal issues last couple of years. He was dealing with his family. But I like Wiggs. Always been a fan, so maybe he can come back to life down there. Here's a name, man. I don't think I mentioned him all season. CJ McCollum had 40 this week. Since being out of Portland, man, you almost forget CJ McCollum in the league. He was hurt. He's been out. But good to see him drop 40 in a game. Then we got the usual suspects. KD dropped 38 against Milwaukee. Joker dropped 39 over Milwaukee. That's a problem. They're giving up points like that. SGA had a 37 ball. Spider had 38 this week. So guys are hooping. Now I want to know if everybody's going to play. Some teams are locked in. Cleveland doesn't have to play everybody, but you kind of want to keep that rhythm going. So we'll see how they sit people down during the course of the next couple of weeks. So let's get into it. The MVP race. Now let's go rookies. I want to talk to rookies a little bit because there's been some interesting guys have gotten better in the second half of the season. it's still locked up. Castle's going to win it. Castle's averaging 20 points a game for March. Castle has locked this thing up. He's taken advantage of Wemby being out, and he's put the team on his shoulders, man, with the leadership of CP3. He's doing his thing. Alex Sarr, even though he's in no man's land down there in Washington, 17-7, playing a little more consistently. Even his counterpart from France, Zach, he's up to 14 points a game for the month, 12 for the season, but a little more consistency. He has 6 double-digit games in a row. And that's all you want to see out of your rookies, right? You want to get to the point of that consistency. We know the kids can play, but it's adjusting to the NBA, the number of games, the physicality of the game. So they're getting it. We saw the improvement. Matters for the Bulls. Here's another one. Came on strong in the second half of the season. Right now, he's a part of these baby Bulls that are killing it. I really look forward to seeing these guys in year 2. Right? They're all going to be starters. They're all going to be impactful. Don't think I'm leaving away from Zach Edey. Zach Edey had a great year. In my book, I know a lot of people thought he was going to be a bum. He wouldn't make it. Zach runs the floor. He rebounds with limited minutes. He plays maybe 20 minutes a game less, but he averaged 9 and 7 in that 20. Started all season for Memphis. I think eventually, I compare him to Zubac. I've said it a lot. He will develop and be in the Zubac. And one of my concerns was, would he be healthy for the year? He stayed healthy, right? We didn't see injuries. So Zach's going to be fine in the league. MVP race. I think at this point we can give it to him. He's been consistent, man. The kid has been outstanding this year. He reminds you of an old school scorer. His mid-range game is it's uncanny. He can score from anywhere on the court. He's not a great three-point shooter, but he's leading the league in scoring, and the majority of his shots come from the mid-range. He can get to the rim at ease. So shout out to SGA. I think it's pretty much a lock. No knock on Joker, man. You got a couple in your bag. Just write him out. But he's been a great season. OKC has been dominant. They won't win 70 games. They could if they finish out the season. They're on 8 in a row. But his team is held on. They got a 13-game lead in the West, which is pretty, shows you they're dominant throughout the season. So there we go. So that's our MVP locked up. Rookie of the Year is locked up. Let something drastic happen. So now we got to frame this thing out. We got 2 weeks left in the season. The East is the bottom half. That could change a little bit, and then we'll talk about the West. But in the East, you still got Cleveland up 4.5. But Boston, as I said, Boston is coming. Boston's playing well and they're healthy now. Kristaps is back. Even though they shoot a zillion threes, they're winning. Sorry, I was seeing someone coming in the door. They're winning. Cleveland's up 4.5 over Boston. New York is locked in the 3rd place spot. I don't see anything changing from them unless they go on a drastic losing streak, which I don't think they will. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So that's 1, 2, and 3. 4, 5, and 6, Indiana, Detroit, and Milwaukee are separated by a couple of games. Indiana plays the Cavs twice, OKC, and Denver. They got a tough run. Detroit probably in the best place, but because they play the Thunder, but they can control their destiny because they played Milwaukee the last 2 games of the season. So if they win both of those games, they can lock in the 5th seed. But if Indiana loses a couple of those games, like with the Cavs, Detroit could slide up to 4. I like that. I like Detroit at 4. That'll give them a 4 or 5 matchup, and they probably end up playing Indiana, which would be a great series. Milwaukee has to be careful because they could easily slide out of the top 6 and find themselves in a playoff game. I know they missed Dame, but they're struggling right now. The defense is not there. It's Giannis. They got this guy, Ryan Rollins, playing the point now, subbing in. He's played well the last couple of games, but they're in trouble. Atlanta, so now that's your top 6. Cleveland, Boston, New York, Indiana. Detroit, Milwaukee. So now we go 7 through 10. Atlanta, Orlando, Chicago, Miami. Atlanta doesn't have a rough schedule. They could jump Milwaukee. Orlando has the Clips, Celtics, the Pacers, and they're only a half game back in Atlanta. The possibility. The Bulls, on the other hand, are 2 games back. So they're probably going to stay in that 9th spot, but I think they could beat any of those. They could beat Milwaukee, Atlanta, Orlando in 1 game. win or go home situation just because they're playing so well. But the Bulls got a tough ending. They got Thunder, Cavs, and Heat left. So the Bulls have a tough run to finish off the season. Miami, I think they're just trying to finish out the season. Even if they do get in, I think they're one and done. It's falling apart. They won 3 in a row, but the organization, after the Jimmy thing, they lost like 9 in a row. I don't think they're going to recover. So the East is good. So we got to watch these games. And I think tomorrow on Sunday, somewhere I have it, there's a big game on Sunday. Maybe I get it when we talk about the West. That's going to have some impact on how this plays out. So now we get to the West. We talk about the West. Again, OKC has been consistent for the year. Like OKC, if y'all checking out that shirt, that's NBA G League Ignite. You've probably seen it before, but it's a throwback. Team is no longer existing. But anyway, I digress. OKC up 13.5, dominating. The Rockets slid up to number 2, won 9 out of last 10, but they have the Rockets may have the toughest schedule over the next 2 weeks. Thunders, Clips, Nuggets, Warriors, Lakers. Probably going to win a couple of these games. If the Thunder start sitting people, they can win a few, but they got a tough run to hold that spot. And they're holding a spot in which Denver is only a game and a half behind them. So Denver doesn't have as hard of a schedule. They got the Warriors. In the last game of the season, they play the Rockets. So that game could mean a lot. That really could mean the difference between being a number 2 seed and number 3 seed, depending where they are on the last day of the season. Now we talk about the Lakers and Memphis. They're tied. The Lakers have the Grizz, the Rockets, Warriors, and OKC. Memphis has the Celtics, Warriors, Pistons, Nuggets. This could go either way, right? Neither one of them are playing great. But here's the thing. Behind them are the Clippers. So either of these teams lose 2 games, the Clippers win a couple, Clippers have won 8 out of last 10. The Clippers could easily slide into the 4th spot over the next 2 weeks, and Memphis and the Lakers sliding down to 5 and 6. Golden State is at 7, tied with the Clippers. I don't see Golden State lost a little bit of that mojo. Maybe Steph can come back strong, but they have a tough schedule. Golden State has the Lakers, the Grizzlies, the Nuggets, the Rockets, and the Clippers. So that's a tough schedule. So a lot of these teams in the West are playing each other. Every game is going to count. I don't think we're going to see – people did a lot of resting of players last week. I think over the next 2 weeks, I think teams are going to have everybody on the court because people are looking at seedings. Nobody wants to end up in that 8th seed. I don't think you want Denver. If Denver plays up and ends up 2, you don't want that matchup either. You don't want playoff Denver because they're coming back healthy now. A healthy Denver squad is tough to beat. So when you get into 7, like I said, Golden State's at 7. Minnesota is a half a game out of the 6th spot. This is probably one of the biggest collapses we've seen in a while, man. If you want to fire somebody, maybe you look down at Minnesota, man. But I don't know if the Towns trade, the Big Cat trade was a good one. But they don't have a tough schedule. They could jump over and slide up. They don't have a really tough schedule. So if Anthony Edwards can put them on their shoulder and run through it, so be it. We'll see. Sacramento still playing well. They're at the 9th spot. They have the Nuggets and Clips left. The rest of their games are against East Coast, so they control their own destiny. They just have to win out. If they continue to win, they'll stay in that spot. Maybe they can slide up to 8 for the playoff game, but right now they're in the 9th spot. Then you got Dallas, 2 in a row with AD back. They just need to just keep playing. They're probably one and done. I don't see anybody coming, nothing changing. So Dallas will play. If it were today, I think it's 7 versus 10, 8 versus 9. Dallas will play Golden State. Golden State would beat them, and Dallas would go home. Clay would have 30. It'll be a welcome back home game in Golden State. And Dallas goes home. Now we figure out what we're going to do next year. Outside of that, sitting very closely is Phoenix, man. And this is a team I just don't understand. Like, one day they look good. The next day they look terrible. They're only a game out of the 10th spot against Dallas. But I just don't think they can get it together and make that 10th spot. Like, it's weird. Phoenix is, I don't know what that organization is going to do next year. It'll be very interesting to see how, do they trade Durant is book the one, maybe book just once out, take his car collection and go somewhere else. Phoenix is a dysfunctional franchise. Maybe you pay, what's his name has a no trade clause, Bradley Beal, but maybe you just let him go to restart and just, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know where you can take Bill, but so that's what we got, man. We got, like I say, this is about to be exciting. I'm excited for the last couple of weeks. Season ends April 13th. We got some great games coming up, some great matchups. This is where we start getting every night we got a game. So we're getting that Monday night ESPN. We got Tuesday TNT. We got Wednesday ESPN. We got Tuesday TNT. We get Friday ESPN. We get a Saturday ESPN, ABC ESPN game. So 7 days a week we locked in. So let's watch. Let's enjoy this ride. I'm going to see you next week. We're going to get it in. So right now, I'm about to hop on some ATVs. I'm going to ride through the jungle, see what we got. And we're going to go from there. But hey, God bless y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate the support. Last week I didn't say it and I almost forgot. Thank you for 100. I think now it's 101 subscribers to the channel, man. Now I just need y'all to watch all the videos all the time. But hey, I appreciate you. It's been great. I think Quigley was number 100. Shout out Quigley. I appreciate you, man. Shout out. Tell your dad I said hello. So no, it's been a great run, guys. Let's continue this, man. I'm always excited. I enjoy it. I'm going to have me an Imperial. Y'all have a great week. Love y'all. Be blessed.